Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if a company's words in official documents are as solid as their stock price. Today we are diving into a recent filing from Ondas Inc. It looks like a pretty standard report, but we will see if there is anything juicy buried in the details about their executive compensation. Stick around to find out. Before we dive in, if you value getting straight insights from corporate documents like this, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can connect with fellow corporate explorers. So what we have here is a Form 8K filing from Ondas Incorporated. Think of an 8K as a company's way of telling the public about major events that shareholders definitely need to know about. It's like a public announcement for significant news. The main story in this filing is about a big equity award, which is essentially a grant of company stock or stock options given to Eric Brock, the chairman and chief executive officer. The company is calling it a reward for his outstanding performance, his dedication over the long term, and his steady leadership. Companies often use these kinds of awards to keep top executives motivated and to align their interests with those of the shareholders. Let's talk about the award itself. It is made up of restricted stock units, or RSs. These are promises to give Mr. Brock shares of the company's stock in the future, after certain conditions are met, like staying with the company. In this case, it is about 3% of the company's currently outstanding shares, which works out to a notable 13.5 million shares. That is a pretty significant chunk, and it shows the company is making a big bet on his continued value. The award will be given out over a 3-year period, and it will vest, meaning Mr. Brock will officially own it according to a specific schedule. The first bit, 4.5 million shares, is set to vest on the 1st of June 2026. Then smaller chunks of 1.8 million shares will vest on various dates over the next few years. Concluding in June 2029, this gradual vesting is a common way to encourage executives to stay with the company for an extended period. Now, it is not like he gets the shares automatically. The filing makes it clear that this vesting is dependent on him still working for the company on those specific dates. There are also other standard conditions he needs to meet, which are laid out in the official award agreement and the company's incentive stock plan. So essentially, he has to keep performing and stay on board to get all of these shares. Why is the company giving him such a substantial award? The filing lays out the reasons. The Compensation Committee, which is a group of board members tasked with executive pay, pointed out that since Mr. Brock became CEO in 2018, he hasn't received any cash bonuses or equity awards, except for a single one. Time cash bonus of $50,000. They also mentioned that he has maintained a relatively low base salary during his time as CEO. The committee highlighted several achievements that led to this award. One of the most impressive points is the growth in the company's market capitalization. This is the total value of all the company's shares outstanding. It has shot up from about $225 million to over $3.9 billion. That's massive growth and a huge increase in perceived value by the stock market. Another key point is the strengthening of the company's balance sheet. This means they have improved their financial health. They now have a considerable cash position of $1.5 billion, even after accounting for a recent share offering. This gives the company a lot of financial flexibility, meaning they can more easily make investments or handle unexpected problems without struggling for cash. They also gave credit for developing and executing a growth plan. This plan involves smart investments and acquisitions that have expanded the company's technology, its reach in the market, and its potential for future growth. This shows a proactive strategy to build the business. A specific initiative mentioned is the positioning of Ondas Autonomous Systems. The company is being recognized for turning this part of the business into a leading global player in unmanned and autonomous systems for defense and security. This indicates a successful move into a specialized and potentially profitable market. Finally, they pointed to the successful engagement with investors and partners. This is a sign that outsiders have confidence in Ondas's strategy, its leaders, and its ability to get things done. When investors are happy, it generally means good things for the company's value. So, putting it all together, the Compensation Committee believes this award does a few important things. It makes sure Mr. Brock's long-term goals match up with the goals of the people who own shares. It encourages him to keep focusing on improving how the company performs financially and operationally. And importantly, it helps ensure that strong leadership stays with the company for the long haul. Finally, in the exhibits section, we see a standard mention of an interactive data file, which is common for these types of filings. And the report is signed off by Neil Laird, the Chief Financial Officer, on the 13th of February 2026. Now, looking at this report, what is the big picture? Ondas Incorporated seems to be rewarding its CEO substantially, and the justification provided is quite strong. The growth in market capitalization from $225 million to over $3.9 billion is truly impressive and speaks volumes about the company's performance under Mr. Brock's leadership. This kind of value creation is what shareholders dream of. The strengthening of the balance sheet to a $1.5 billion cash position is another major positive. It means the company is not just growing on paper, but also building a solid foundation for future endeavors. This financial muscle allows for strategic moves, whether it is further expansion, research and development, or weathering economic storms. The focus on the autonomous systems division as a global leader also suggests a successful strategic pivot or expansion into a high-demand sector. This diversification and market leadership can be a significant source of future revenue and profit. However, it is always worth considering the risks. While the report highlights positive performance, large equity awards, even when justified by growth, can sometimes raise questions about executive compensation levels if not consistently matched by broader shareholder returns. In this case, the report strongly argues for the alignment of Mr. Brock's interests with shareholders due to his lack of prior bonuses and relatively low salary. The opportunity here is clear if Ondas can continue its growth trajectory and capitalize on its strong financial position and market leadership in autonomous systems. Its stock price could continue to climb. The risk, as always in the tech and defense sectors, involves competitive pressures, regulatory changes, and the successful execution of its ambitious growth plans. In conclusion, this filing paints a picture of a company that is performing exceptionally well, led by an executive who is being heavily compensated for that success. The substantial equity award to Eric Brock, backed by significant market cap growth and a robust financial position, appears well justified by the details provided. Ondas seems to be on a strong growth path, with a clear strategy and the financial means to execute it. Alright, that is our breakdown of Ondas Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think the executive compensation is fair given the growth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.